Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for the next session of our Get Certified series, PL-300 Manage and Secure Power BI. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our Code of Conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our moderators to answer. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Microsoft Reactor channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our speakers for today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session here on Microsoft Reactor, preparing for PL-300 certification. My name is Vahid. I'm joining from Sydney, Australia today, and Amit, my friend, is here with us from another side of the world, India, here to try to prepare you as much as possible to be prepared to pass that PL-300 exam or and getting that certification. Today focus will be on manage and secure Power BI. So let me go through the slides. As I said, my name is Vahid Dostimaj. I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP and certified trainer MCT and a super user in the community. I'm trying to be active in the community, sharing my knowledge while I learning from other people, especially in the Power BI community website. Highly recommend if you haven't used that, go there, be active there. And Amit, over to you.
Yeah, I'm Amit Chandak. I'm also Microsoft Data Platform MVP, Power BI Community Super User. I work as Chief Analytics Officer at Canarica, and also I love providing solutions on Microsoft Power BI Community. So if you have not explored, explore community.powerbi.com, and it's a great way to learn and share. And if you have challenges, do post there. So
Yeah,
with that,
yeah, I need to add that Amit is one of the super users in the community. He has provided more than 15,000 solutions there. So highly recommend for everyone. If you haven't used the community, that's a great space to be active, learning while you're sharing and helping others to learn and improve their knowledge. So a big kudos and to all moderators today. Chris here, Microsoft Data Platform MVP. Unfortunately, Andre couldn't make it for today. Heidi from Australia here with us. Sorry, Heidi, I couldn't find time to change this picture, adding your headshot here, but both are Microsoft Data Platform MVP here live in a chat. So if you have any question, please raise it in the chat. They are there to help you and share the links or provide answers to you. So kudos to those moderators. Thank you. As I said, this session will be live and interactive. Please say hi. Tell us where are you based now? Where are you watching us? What country? What city? And ask your questions there. Our moderator and are there. They trying to answer all of your questions. If there is something, they will pass to us, and we will focus on that and provide the answer as well here.
is it Henry? This seems like Henry?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's there? Oh, what's there in the envelope?
There.
Let's open it up. Oh, we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of Power BI. Yay! Yes, Power BI is completing 10 this year, and we are celebrating Power BI's 10th anniversary with various events. And this series is also part of that. And you want to be participating in many other things, you should go to aka.ms/PBI, means Power BI 10, and join us this celebration. Brings your friend and lot many things to do. There are challenges coming in In upcoming slides, we will let you know about those. Now, the first thing is to win 50% discount vouchers for PL-300 and DP-700. And for that, what you have to do is go and find out details at aka.ms/pbi10/certification50 CERT50. And this offers will end on August 31st. And supplies are limited. So my advice will be go quickly and take full opportunity of this offer. Get 50% discount. Get yourself certified with PL-300, DP-600. When we move next for more things, yes, database context is back. Now we are having database context again. It's ending on July 16. So very little time left out now. This is running for last 1.5 months. But if you have not heard about it, this is the right time. Go ahead and explore. And where you are going to get this again, aka.ms/pbi10 database. And this is for everyone, and you have to create some innovative Power BI reports and dashboard and impress our judges so that you become part of the top database context candidate.
Yeah, and that's a really good opportunity to show off your skill, collaborate with others, be part of that database network. And I highly recommend to be active there. It's great. Data visualization is one of the most important part in the data analytics side. It's not always DAX and data model. At the end of the day, you need to visualize the data and show that to the end user. So this is the great area to show off your skill while you're improving your skills.
And I just want to add here that there are a few people who has created such a good visualization last time that I went to the see what kind of visual created after a week, and after that I decided I don't have such a great visualization sense so that I can create it. So I will just will not be able to add any value. But I think there are some great visualizations which has been created, and I would like you to go ahead and look what happens last time, and that will give you a lot of ideas. But it is really innovative. When you see those visuals, you will realize, oh, this is what I can do in Power BI. Surprising. And then, yes, these are the kind of things which really create a user impact. See, it's all about the storytelling. And if you use right set of visuals and right set of things, you will be able to, create that story, which create impression, which create that wow factor. And that's really important to communicate your story. So I would like you to explore what happened in the past and try to create your own story this time to become a winner. And now we have Fabric user panel, and you could be part of that. So if you want to be part of that, again, you have to go and register yourself at akams.fabric user panel community, and you can influence the product roadmap, provide us the feedback, what is needed. So do join Fabric user panel.
Perfect.
And Vahid, are you going to Microsoft Fabric Community Conference in Europe?
I'm trying to finalize that plan and be there, which is great, opportunity. I'm trying to do that. Not sure, but I will do my best to be there. That's a great area and great opportunity.
Yes, I attended the two in the Las Vegas. I did not attend the one in the Europe last year. But again, this is the opportunity for you to attend this. And yes, we are giving a discount coupon if you are going to use this code right now, what we are showing you by using Fab Live. It's a great place. I have attended a couple of them on Las Vegas, and next year that conference is happening on Atlanta. It's a great opportunity to go and learn from the best and see what's happening on the Microsoft Fabric roadmap. And I'm assuming all of you know about Microsoft Fabric. If not, do drop us messages in the chat window. Our moderators will provide you a lot of content to read and learn about Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, and that's a good opportunity to create a good connect with the people from different side of world and create a good network in Microsoft Fabric community.
Yeah, let's see what we are lying next.
Yeah, so I think today is the fourth session in the overall sessions we designed for the PL to prepare for the PL-300 sessions. I hope you enjoyed the previous sessions about the visualization and analyzing data, model the data, and prepare data using Power BI. Today we will focus on manage and secure Power BI, and there will be another session on 9 or 10th of July to and that in that session we will focus on exam preparation. And if you have any question, any question related to PL 300, that's the best place to attend and ask from the best in that session. Okay,
Yes.
so yep, go ahead, mate.
Yes. So now we are today starting this Get Certified PL-300 Power BI Data Analyst, and the content we are going to cover today is PL-300 and Power BI overview, create and manage workspaces and assets, secure and govern Power BI items, and practical tips for the success. So we will go ahead and Vahid will start you telling about some of those things, and we'll continue to explore. Do drop in your questions in the chat window. Moderators will answer, and some of the questions we will also take up at the end.
So let's have a view on the overall view of the PL-300, right?
Yes. So in PL-300, if you were to look, what is the portion for what all things? So what we are going to discuss is 15 to 20%. And in that one, you have to learn about create, manage workspaces and asset, secure and govern Power BI items. That itself is 15 to 20%. And I'm assuming you already attended the sessions previously. If not, you can watch the recording on the same channel. Power BI preparation is 15 to 30%, means specifically around data transformation using Power BI, modeling, DEX formulas, and all those 25 to 30%. And visualization in Power BI is also again 25 to 30%. Now, why there is a range? Because these things keep on changing, and as the exam progresses, the question may not be same. They may not be in the same sequence. The option may not be same. You and your colleague who are doing it at the same time may have different set of questions which you do, and depending on complexity, and every questions will have different kind of marks, and all those will be there. And finally, you have to achieve a score of 700 to pass that exam. And so hopefully this portion, specifically secure Power BI, from today's session will help you to get more out of those 15 to 20% question which you are going to get in this area. Let's see what else we like.
Okay, so let's go through create and configure the workspace here. So let's imagine you're working in a data analytics team and you have created a Power BI report in a PBIX format in a Power BI desktop, and now you want to share this report with the others in your team. There are many different people in your team, and they're asking, okay, how can we have access to that report? There is a very manual version of that, is sharing the PBIX file with them, which is not the best way to do that, because you can't guarantee there is always the latest version used by those users. So you need to share it in one place and be able to update that, and that can help you to guarantee the user always using the latest version. So in that case, Power BI Workspace will comes in, and that's a collaborative container for Power BI content. So it's a Power BI service from a Power BI desktop. When you created your report, you can publish it to Power BI service, and then you can group those items into different workspaces. So the workspace is a collaborative container for Power BI content. You can keep your semantic model, report, dashboards, data flow, and apps in each of those workspaces. And you can have a plan how you want to create those workspaces. You can create the different workspaces based on how you want to share the reports with the different people, or you can create the workspaces based on the type of the reports, or even you can create workspaces based on the teams in your company. So that's something you need to consider when you want to create a workspaces, and then you can publish your reports into those workspaces. So a little bit about those different items in the workspace. When you create a Power BI desktop report and you publish it into Power BI service, then you will have your Power BI report will be split to two sections: the report section, which has all the visuals layer, and semantic model, which has all the tables, relationship, measures, calculated columns, all those related to model. And then you can create a dashboard. The dashboard and report are different in Power BI area, because the main differences is Power BI report, you can create different pages. It can have you can add 2, 3, 4 pages or more than that one, but in dashboard you are limited into one page. So that dashboard is created to have a very high level glance view of different reports, because from the reports you can pin each one or two or any of those visuals into one dashboard, and we will call it tile. So you can add those tiles from different reports to have one dashboard showing the high level data from different reports. And then we have a Power BI apps, which for each of the Power workspaces, you can create one app to share content and those reports and dashboards with different people, which in another slide, I will go through the different and more details about the apps and how you can share these reports and content from Power BI Workspace with users in your organization. There are some other areas we need to focus here about the workspace, how we want to configure that workspace. You can define different type of access to your workspace, which there are some rules you can assign to them, which in the next slide I will go through that. There are 3 rules: admin, member, contributor, and viewer, which in the next slide I will go through all of them in details, what are the differences between them. And then you can even share the reports directly from sharing the item directly from the workspace, and we will cover that later. So there are different type of workspaces. There is a My Workspace. When you create an account, Microsoft account, and log into powerbi.com, a private workspace, My Workspace, will be assigned to you. That's a private workspace. You can't share your content from there with the others outside of in your organization, outside of the organization. There is a limited space assigned to that, so it's something just for private use. If you want to have some space, which we call it shared workspace, and then sharing the data with the other people and other users in your organization, you need to have some license, and based on those licenses, you can assign them to the workspaces, which is Pro, Power Premium per users, and Premium or Fabric capacity. Pro license is good for small to medium size organization, because if you create a Pro workspace and share a report there, then you can only share them with the people with the Pro license. You can't share that with the people with the free license. Any user want to use those reports, they need to have a Pro license. And for each of them, you need to buy that license and assign that to that user. So that's a user-based license for the workspace. But on the other hand, if you want to use more items and more features of the Power BI, in the Pro there are some limitations. You can refresh your data set, auto-refresh your data set 8 times a day, but with the Premium or Power BI PPU, you can have more options. 48 times you can schedule to refresh your data set. So with the Pro, you are limited to publish 1 gigabyte data set or semantic model, but in the Power BI Premium and the PPU, you can upload more, around 100 gigabytes. 100 gigabytes for Power BI per user. Premium one is 400 gigabytes or Fabric capacity. Premium per user is created for people or individual, which that person looking for all the premium capacity features, or most of them, but they don't want to spend that much there. So it's something you need to think about that one. There are all the options on the table, and based on your organization need and your need, you need to select one of them. With the Power BI per user, you can publish the Power BI, you can publish the report to that workspace, but you will be able only to share that with the people with Power BI per user license. So those people need to have that license to be able to use your reports. On the other hand, if you buy a premium or fabric capacity, that's a dedicated capacity will be assigned to your workspace. Means RAM, CPU, and the space is the dedicated assigned to your workspace, and then you have more features and more ability to use that workspace. You can you can refresh, set the auto refresh for your data set or semantic model for 48 times. And the biggest feature is you don't need to have the users want to use the report don't need to have a pro license or premium per user license. You can share with the free licensed people, and that's good because in your team you can have some developers with pro license, and they can publish that to the workspace with the capacity, premium or fabric, and they can share that with the free users, the free users using that capacity one. So let me go to the next slide and go through those different roles in the workspace. Feel free, Amit, if you want to add something or change something, just feel free to unmute yourself and jump in, mate. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think PPU, I think PPU is the capacity which I remember came only few years back. There was a lot of demand because there was a gap between the pro and the premium capacity. There was a huge gap in terms of pricing, and that's where PPU helped a lot. The only thing which we have to remember when we are using PPU and pro capacity, pro licenses, that everybody in the organization will need unless we reach capacity. So once you are on a capacity and those capacities are not fabric capacities, you reach to like F64 or P1 equivalent of Power BI. Till that time, viewers also you have to pay for license. Viewers are only free after you have the capacity, and viewer is kind of a role for us. It's not like a license in case of Power BI. So yeah, it's interesting. And Vahid, I remember very recently I got this Power BI community 6-year badge that I'm there on the community for 6 years. So at least I'm using for 6-7 years. And this is an interesting question I would like to ask. Did you, because I saw like Perry and some other folks even get for 10 years. So they are using Power BI for 10 years. So for all the users who are attending today's meeting, how many years you are using Power BI and for how long you are using it?
That would be great. Yeah, just put it in the chat. We will read that one. Let's see for how many years you have been using Power BI. I have been using that for more than 5 years now, and I'm active in the community for around 4 years at the moment. So, okay, so let's back to the workspace section. As I mentioned there are 4 roles you can assign to your users and your team members to act in that workspace. I will start from the top and then go to the down one. The admin is the admin. Have full control, including managing workspace setting, updating or deleting the workspace, adding or removing users, and adding or removing another admin, and controlling app publishing. So that's the top level of the access you can assign to a person and user in the workspace. Then we have a members, which same as the admin, but with some less ability. One of them is they can't manage admin roles, they can't remove or manage their roles, and they can't delete the workspace. They can't do that, but they can modify the data settings, they can publish the app, and they can manage all the contents. The contributors are people they can create, edit, and edit the content, but they can't publishing the app. There is a section in the setting which the admin can give this option and this ability to the contributor, but they need by default it's not set to have that ability to publish the app. But admin can say, okay, contributors are able to publish the app. There is an option, they need to turn it on and click on that check mark, but by default it's not active. But yes, contributor, they can edit, they can publish that, they can publish the report, and they can delete the content, but they can't change the setting of the workspace. They can't add or remove the members or admins, and they can't publish the app unless admin give that option to them. And the viewers are the low level of the access for the people, which they have the read-only access. They can read and interact and view the contents, but they can't make any changes in that workspace. So those are the 4 level of the roles you can assign to the members in team to use the Power BI workspace. Okay, so we are talking about workspace, we talk about the rules, and then we need to know at the moment how we can publish the report into the workspace. So if you create your report in the Power BI report and you have that Power BI PBIX file, you can publish that by using that button, publish in the Power BI desktop, and publish that into a workspace. When you click on the publish, you can see the name of all workspaces. You have access to that. You can select each of them and you can publish it there. And the naming of that file is very important, because if there is a report with that name in that workspace, then you will update that. A notification will pop up and ask you, do you want to update that? There is a report with that name, and you can say update, and that will be updated. The other type you can publish it is to import that. In the workspace, you can go to the import. There is an import button. If you click on that, then you can import the PBIX file directly from your computer. And recently, the new features added there, you can import it from OneDrive or from SharePoint. So you can keep your file there and add that and select that from OneDrive or SharePoint and publish that into your workspace. So those are the ways you can publish your reports into the workspace, and then you can organize those reports, dashboards, and data flows, and all content, all those items and artifacts in the workspace. There is a new feature added there, which you can create folders. So you can create different folders there, and then moving the reports and organize them, categorize them, for example, in development, and then adding by type of the data in there, sales report, project report, HR report, and add those items to those folders, so you can organize them better than before because with these folders. And then we talked about the roles in workspace, which we have different items like a viewer, contributor, members, and admins. All of those users will be able to see the reports if they have the access to that workspace. They can see the workspace name in their Power BI service, and they can go through that workspace and see all the reports and interact and view those reports and interact with the visuals and reports. But there is another item which you can manage item level permission and setting. You can share the report directly, one report for one person, and that person don't need to be one part of those roles in the workspace. You can directly share with the people, which in the next slide I will go through the details of that, how you can do that, but you can add or remove people access and give them access to one item to be able to use a report or dashboard in the workspace. Data flow is not like that. Only people access to the workspace can use the data flow. You can't say, okay, this data flow shared with this type of people. No, those people need to have one of those roles to be able to use the data flow. Okay, so yeah, as I said, there are different ways we can share the report with the people and users in organization. We can share the report directly. Those 4 roles assigned to users, they can see the workspace and they can see all the reports and they can open and interact with them. You can share the report directly by sharing that, creating the link and sharing with them, and that links will drive them to that report. Or you can manage the access and give them access to different reports. and even you can give them access to be able to build the report using those data worked or that semantic model, or no, just be able to just view that and interact with that. So different type of the way, and this is the good things from the Power BI. You have many options and you can find the best which is aligned with the scenario and your business questions to answer that with these options. The other part, which is the best practice to do, is to publish an app and then give access and grant access to different people. The difference in those two areas is, if you want to shape the report one by one, then you need to add or remove the people, all the distribution list. If you have a mailing list, a security list, you can add them as well. But for each of them, you need to do it one by one. But by creating an app, you can add the content from a workspace to that app, and then creating the audience level, different audience level, and say, okay, for this audience level, for example, finance, I want to add these people, and all the content you add there, they will be able to see those reports, and you don't need to grant access one by one. So that's the best method. If you add or remove the report, those level of access will be automatically managed by Power BI. They will grant the access or delete the access. All of them will be happen by few clicks. And the good things for them is, if they install the app, they can find the app in the Power BI service and they can install it. And every time they can find it in the Power BI service. You don't need to share the link every time with them. So the apps is the really powerful. At the moment, you can publish one app with for each workspace, but it's not part of this PL-300. But just for your information, there is a new features added in the Fabric, and that's the organization app, which you can create different apps in the workspace. It's not part of that. I just want to highlight that. If you watch this video 2 years later, 1 year later, this is the app new features. You can use that one. The other features we have here is the embed content in other platforms. You have a SharePoint site, you have a website, and you want to embed that report in there, which is possible in the Power BI report. You open that in your workspace in Power BI service, and then you can say, okay, share the Power BI, and then that will give you a HTML code, and you can embed that in that workspace. The other features, which is very important, is the subscription and alerts. So you can define the subscription for each report, for all pages of that, on one page of that, and receive an email with the snapshot of that report in your email. Or you can say, I want to see the snapshot of all pages in a PDF or PowerPoint version, PowerPoint format, and that you will receive that daily, weekly. You can set that, and every time you will receive a snapshot of that file, which is the snapshot of all the pages, as an attachment in that email. And you can set the alert as well in the dashboard section. As I said, there are some ties. For some of those ties, not all of them, for some of them, you can set alert and said, okay, if, for example, says goes around about 400, notify me, and that will check that every time and inform you if it goes above that one. Send you an email and said, okay, this section says, for example, it's now about 400 there. There are some good documentation in Microsoft Learn which explain them perfectly with all the details. Highly recommend to see them with them. There are some limitations there, and there are some items you need to take into your consideration when you want to use them. The other items which is very important here is, imagine you have a workspace with many reports and data sets, and you want to share that with your team. There are 5 developers, and you want to ask them, okay, you can use this workspace, this data set or semantic models. So there are 2 good badge you can add to your semantic models, and that's a promote and certify trust content. Promote, everyone all developers can go and select that promote, which add that, as you can see, the endorsement column in front of that will add the promoted badge there, which showing that, okay, this is ready for creating your reports, and it's ready to distribute with the others in the system. But there is another item you can certify that, which is a little bit high level, that one, and only some users with that ability that can do that. The admin portal, Power BI admin in your tenant need to grant that access to the people to be able to certify a semantic model, and that shows it's been reviewed and meets all the organization criteria, which is really good to give them this badge, and with very easily they can go through the semantic model and find out which one is promoted and which one is certified. And then there are two other main and more important items which sometimes you need gateway. Whenever you want to publish a report and use a data source which is in the on-premise, like your desktop, your folder, or on-premise database, you need the gateway which interact as a connection between Power BI service and that system, which we have two type of gateways. Personal gateway, which is for you, you can install it on your computer and grant access to your system. And there is a standard one which will give more access to more users and more on-premises data sources. And then, as I said in the previous slide, there are some others refresh limitation, 8 times for Pro, 48 times for PPU and premium capacity, which you can set that, and you can manage and monitor those schedule refreshes. If you are an admin of Power BI, there is a section you can go there and find out how long does it take to refresh each time, how many workers semantic models in your tenant are planned to be refreshed in the future. You can export it in Excel, review that, and that gives you a good heads up. Maybe you can set some of them during the night if it takes too much time to not load your dedicated capacity, and you can play with those options. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit fast. I'm just conscious of time because there are many slides remain, and I don't want to use too much of time and put Amit in the section to have less time to cover all this other slides. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Amit, over to you, mate.
Yeah. So now, when we want to secure, you learn about the assigning the workspace role. So from where you are going to assign these roles like admin, member, contributor, and viewer. And so for that, what you have to do in your workspace on the right top, you have this manage access. And when you go to the manage access, you will immediately see a search bar. And what you will do is you will start searching that. No, that's not the place. That only searches the people whom you have already assigned. What you are going to do is you will click on add people and groups. And groups are here the groups which is you have created in your M365 or in Azure, which you want to give the permission. So typically we don't give permission to the individual, we prefer it to give to groups. Then when you click on the add group and people and groups, then you will get the search bar. Now this is the search bar where when you search, you will be able to search people or you'll be able to search groups. You can start typing the name or email IDs and you will be getting those people. You select one or more. You can select multiple of them. After that, there is a drop down below, and below that, in that drop down, you can select admin, member, contributor, and viewer. The permissions are already explained by Vahid. Once you select that, you can click on add, and those users will be added to your workspace with that permissions. And you need to be very careful what permissions you are giving, because that is going to also impact how data is going to be secure. Data is only secure for viewers in Power BI world. All other people will be able to see complete data, even if the RLS has been applied on top of that. So we'll understand that on the next slide. So we'll move to the next slide now. Now, configure item level access. And this is really important, and I think I do talk about it. What happens initially when this entire stuff has been designed for Power BI, giving workspace level permission was enough. But as we moved on, there are a lot many things came in. Especially with Fabric, we have tons of things like lake houses, warehouses. We have Power BI semantic model. We have a direct lake semantic model. Now we need permission, which is item level, which is little more than what we used to give previously. So to give the workspace item level permission, on every item on the workspace, you have an icon to share that or manage permissions. Now these permissions which you give at the item level will override the workspace rules for specific items. Like if I have given a viewer role, and if I go ahead and give the build permission to the workspace, it means I will be able to now create report on top of this workspace I will be able to use it via XML endpoint and build the content. Now, you want to share a report on dashboard, again, you can use that. You have to use a caution while giving the permissions, because it is overwriting the permission on the top level, and these permissions are available at the individual level. They are not be visible to you at the workspace level. So then you have to go and see in the manage permission page what all permissions you have. So you have permission like read, you have permission like build, you have permission like the users can share it with others, and when they share that, can others build the content. So these kind of permissions. So you should be able to use item level permissions, and I typically these days like to give item level permissions, especially the build permission, because the build permission does allow you to securely share data with developers on Power BI service. Because on Power BI desktop we don't have security. We do create roles, which we're going to talk on the next slides, but we will not be able to secure any data from developers when we are importing it on the Power BI desktop. So let's move to the next slide now. Now, how do we configure access to the semantic model? So first of all, when you create a Power BI report on your desktop, you only see one file. And these days we have more than one format, so you will see a folder and with multiple files into it. But typically we treat it as one single file. But when we publish it on Power BI service, we get a semantic model and we get a report. Now every report or the visualization is built on top of a semantic model. Semantic model contains our data, measures, definitions, etc., relationship. Now, what kind of permission we need on the semantic model? One is report creator, who can build the reports. So you can build the report, you can publish new reports and all those. So you have the member permission, you have contributor permission, admin permission, you will be able to do. If you only have the viewer permission, you can only view the content. So, but what we can do is we can give you the build permission. Once we give the build permission, even if you are a viewer, you will still be able to build new content. You will be able to create the report. Then we also wanted to use permission, which is cross-workspace reuse. Now, cross-workspace reuse, what would allow is semantic model is in workspace A, but I can still go ahead and build a report in workspace 2. And sometimes it is really important, because we create a separate report workspace which we can share easily with the users. So the semantic model might not be lying in that particular workspace, or there are workspaces based on the organization department like finance, sales, but the finance department want to use sales semantic model. So do they need to create another one? No, we can allow them to use the semantic model which is in the sales workspace, and they can still create reports on the finance workspace for the purpose. That is why cross workspace reuse is really important. So these are the things you can do and configure. We'll move to the next slide. Yes, and okay, implement row level security. Now, RLS is set up on the desktop. We create roles on the desktop, but RLS is implemented on Power BI service. Once you publish the file, that's the time when it get implemented. Viewers will get restricted by the roles we create. So on the Power BI desktop, you have managed roles where you can create new roles, and you can even view as a role. Now, view as a role, you can give the email ID or the name you want to secure. Now, in case of typical Power BI web app, the normal one which you are using, not the embedded Power BI, usually the email IDs are the one which are used to secure the data dynamically. So there is a static role and there is a dynamic role. The static role is something like, I want to give only north. So state or region equals to north. Now, dynamic security is where I have a table where I will say, okay, Amit can access India data, Vahid can access Australia data, and their emails are there along with the name. Now, I have a question and you can reply these things in the chat that have you used all? Let's say I want to use all. And if you want to use all in RLS table with the email IDs, there is a limitation. You can't simply use all. So are you aware of that? how to use all, and what is this limitation when you want to use all, so that what you need to have in your table, then you can use all, and what is the kind of changes you have to do to it. So RLS, how we configure. So in our case, this is true for the Power BI world. If you are the Fabric, if you are in the Microsoft Fabric world, you will hear about one lake security, which is the overall framework for that, which will be where you will be able to secure the data across lake houses, warehouses, and semantic model. But here in the Power BI world, what we do is we have a DEX syntax with which we can define the filters. It could be a simple filter as good as state equals to let's say California, or city equals to New York. They could be combination. One role you have and across, and across role it is OR. If I assign two rows, it automatically become OR. Then restrict the data by user identity, apply roles in Power BI service. So when you go to the Power BI service, that is where you have the managed security, and that's where you go to that particular security, and then you give the either a user or a role. Now, if you created a dynamic security, immediately the access will go away. People will not see unless you assign them to the security. So even one dynamic security role means that you can use Azure AD groups for scalability. Now, typically what happens in organization, it's not that they are going to give Amit's email ID or Vahid's email ID for security. They are going to put them into the groups. Finance group, finance viewer group, finance admin group, finance contributor group. And they have an internal mechanism to apply for those groups or those lists, and you will get added to that list. And that list is the only thing which get added into the security, into the workspaces. And once that is applied, your data will get secure. So RLS is securing your rows of the data, row level security. We do have something known as OLS, but OLS is not available via the traditional Power BI desktop method, or means it's not available in the Power BI desktop. You have to use external tools for that. But be aware that we do have a column level security or table level security where we can hide that content. And especially important to hide the content from the developer on the web, where we have given the build permission. It's really important for that. So we'll move to the next slide. Now, when the user want to wish to export the content, we can also restrict how they want to export. We can say, okay, they want to summarize data with the current layout, or summarize data with current layout with underlying data. So whether we want them to give those things, that we then can do that. Then there is something known as sensitivity labels. Now, sensitivity label, if you remember, this is more coming from the concept from the we have for the Word document, Excel sheets. This was the starting place where we say, okay, this is a sensitive document. Only people in the organization should be able to see it. They should not be able to share it with other outside the organization. Sometimes you relate them with download permissions and all those. So all these sensitivity labels can also be applied to Power BI, and you can apply it on desktop as well as on the Power BI. So once you apply those things, they will also go downstream, and admins can override some of those permissions. So that will allow user, let's say if they download Excel, or let's say that can only be opened by or can only be shared with the organizational user, those kind of stuff will be taken care if you apply sensitivity label. You have to configure the labels at the admin level. Power App admin do have the permission to create the sensitivity label and define the rules. And once those rules are defined, those labels can be used inside the organization to secure and protect your data based on the labels. So we'll move to the next slide now. Now in Power BI, we have this very important feature where you can, in a visual, can click on analyze. Now this features, what it will do is it will allows you to discover trend, outliers, and relationship with your data. And it's a built-in tool. You don't need anything specific. It also allows you to group or bin the data. Means you want to combine certain values and you want to create one value. Let's say I don't have a categorize. I have, let's say, group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5. And I want to categorize these into, let's say, further more groups. Let's say G1 group and G2 group. So all those things we can do using these analyze feature. It shows you the various additional analysis which you can explore and that will help you to get into the depth of the data and knowing more information about that. Let's move on. Now we have tons of AI visuals. Now one of the AI visual which we are seeing here is basically the AI visual which is key influencer chart. Now key influencer chart displays the major contribution for the selected result of the values. Now other than key influencer visual, we have decomposition tree, we have Q&A visual, and we have anomaly detection also, which is available on the existing visual. Now, and then we have the smart narrative visual, smart narrative which can create the summaries based on the content on your page. So these are various AI enabled visuals. Now what is the objective behind these visuals? So you can use AI visuals to uncover insights automatically. Means the basic objective is that instead of you drilling down into the data, can the information come to you in more faster and collaborative manner. You can apply forecasting and reference lines to the visual trend. So when you created a trend and you want to see, okay, what would happen in the future if this kind of trend continues? So immediately you have the forecasting features available on your line visual. Enhanced with smart narrative. Smart narrative will generate the narrative in natural language. So it will tell you about, okay, how your organization is doing, how these city versus city comparison or important brand versus brand comparison, it will automatically create. Now, decomposition tree will analyze you to visualize the data across multiple dimensions, and it automatically allows you to drill down with seeing whether things are going up or moving down. So these are the things which you will be able to do with decomposition tree. Now, outlier detection is something where you have those top and bottom points. Where does the data was on top, or where does it went down? So detect the unexpected values using the anomaly detection. Then you can use error bars for the confidence level. So this is lying in this particular range. So whenever we have an error, what is the range in which that right? And combine the visual formatting and highlight the insight. So you can use the visual formatting to do that. Now forecasting is one more feature which is available in the line visuals, specifically when you're creating trends, that will allow you to forecast the next few months. And usually the data which you are using for forecast versus what you have forecasted, so the data which you are using for forecast should be bigger than what you're planning to forecast. Don't take 5 years of data and plan to forecast 10 years of data. Don't do that. You take 5 years and plan to forecast 1 year or 2 years. So that is how you should always be doing this. So you have to explore all these features which are specifically added to Power BI to enhance your experience. We'll move to the next slide now.
Okay, so thank you so much, Amit. I hope you enjoyed this session and we help you to have better understanding of how you manage your workspace and content and security share that with the users in Power BI and in your organization. So I highly recommend to use this exam preparation, PL-300 exam preparation. You can scan this QR code or just type aka.ms/PL-200/prepare. That's really great, very close to real questions, and it's a hands-on practice study guide and help you to be and to review the resources and practice tests and learn while you are doing those tests. And you can even use the Microsoft Learn courses. There are many Microsoft Learn documentation, which if you need to have better understanding and deep knowledge, highly recommend to rely on those Microsoft Learn documentation. For each section, you can search it, Google it, and you can find that in Microsoft Learn course. And then there are many sample projects in the Power BI, which if you want to use them to trying and checking some scenarios, you can use those sample projects or sample files and use them to run those scenarios and test those items. Okay, so many opportunities at the start of this session. We talk about that one. Power BI 10th birthday party. I can't believe that it's a 10 year at the moment. So you can join us by scanning that code or just type aka.ms/PBI10. and let's celebrate this big achievement together. There is a 50% discount waiting for you. If you want to take the exam or pass that PL-300, DP-600, or DP-700, you can scan that code, QR code, or just go to the aka.ms/PBI10/cert50, and then till end of August, this offer is available. Highly recommend to use that 50% discount. That's great. And you can take the exam, and then I think if you fail that one, you can take it again. So that's a good one. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, series of videos, and just using those Microsoft Learn documents, you can easily pass that exam. Database contents, we were talking about that one. There is a contest. You can go out and using that link, or just checking that QR code or scan it, or using that Power BI community website. There are more information there. Highly recommend to show off your skills there while you connecting with the other peoples and creating a good network in the Power BI community. Power BI data visualization, and data visualization is super important. I know many people just spending time on DAX, Power Data Model, and Power Query, but at the end of the day, you need to visualize those data and share the insight with the end users. End users will see your data visualization. Very important to have a good model, good DAX, good relationship, and those things. But data visualization is super important, and this is a good chance for you to show off your skills there. And as we mentioned earlier, there is a great conference in Europe, in Vienna, FabCon. There was another FabCon in US, which they shared many good things there. In between 15 to 18 of September this year, you can attend this Fabric conference in Vienna, and you can save 200 euros now by using this code FAB Live. Fab Live. It's a code to get 200 euros discount. Highly recommend if you can attend that Fabric conference. Most of the production team from Microsoft are there. Many MVPs there. Many people in the community there, so you can chat with them, asking your questions, sharing your ideas while you're attending many workshops and sessions, and improve your knowledge, learning from the best there. So it's a great chance to attend and create a good network and can communicate with the people from Microsoft, from the community as well. Okay, so this session was the fourth session in this preparation for the PL-300 exam. We had a minute session about how you prepare the data, how you model the data, how to visualize and analyze the data. And this session focus was manage and secure Power BI. And there is another session next week, and that focus on the exam preparation. And you can ask all of your questions in that session. All of the previous sessions and this session available on Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. All of them recorded, and you can watch them whenever you want. If you want to check that again, you can watch that because the recording is available there. And I think that was the last slide. I checked the comments and find that Heidi and Chris covered all the questions. Kudos to you guys. Thank you so much. I think you cover all those questions, but you can reach out to us in LinkedIn or in the community. You can ask your question there, and you can just scan this code and prepare yourself for that exam and getting that certification. I hope this session and other sessions help you to improve your knowledge and you are prepared for that exam. Amit, do you want to add anything at the end?
Yes, so I think exam preparation is really important, and we have a lot of content around that. So you can use this link and prepare for that. And if you have any questions, as Vahid said, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn. You can reach out to the other super users and MVPs of Power BI community who can also help you out in all those. And there is a lot of content available from the creators, which talks about how to get the PL-300 question answers and all those. So do take advantage of that. And I think it was pleasure, interacting with Vahid in the morning, and I think I do see a lot of interactions happening on the chat. We do have a couple of minutes. I'm not sure there is some question which we should be taking up. Let us know in case there is some question which we should take it up here.
I think Heidi and Chris covered all of those questions. I can see that in the chat. They covers that perfectly. But if there is anything else, I think we still have 1 minute to cover here. Otherwise, as we mentioned, you can reach out to us, LinkedIn, or the best place, Power BI community. Go there. There are many MVPs, super users, and other people that which they can help you there. Okay, I think there is no other questions. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. Thank you, Amit. And I hope this session and the other sessions are helpful and help you to pass that exam.